CM Punk Media Scrum fallout, the insanity that happened at the Media Scrum. Of course, everybody's talking about all the insanity from this past weekend at All Out. CM Punk made a giant ass of himself, and this is coming from the biggest CM Punk mark. I would go as far as to call him a hero, or was a hero, perhaps. I don't know. But I thought very highly of Punk. I thought he stood for something. I thought he represented something. And he showed a very ugly, dark, nasty, vile side of himself this week. Everybody involved is suspended across the board. CM Punk is suspended. Ace Steel suspended. Larry the Dog suspended. Kenny Omega and the Bucks suspended. Michael Nakazawa suspended. Christopher Daniels. Brandon Cutler. All he was doing was holding the goddamn camera for BTE. He got suspended. And Pat Buck got suspended. He was there in the mix as well. A third-party company has been brought in to investigate this. An outside source, an impartial judge, somebody that's not associated with AEW, has been hired to investigate what happened there. And the belief is that everybody's just kind of suspended until more information can come out, because we've heard both sides of the story now. If you listen to the CM Punk side of the thing, the Young Bucks burst through his door, pounded on the door. Punk didn't answer, so they kicked it open. Super kick, thigh slap, nailed it. Got that door down with their fucking $5,000 Dior shoes on. And they walked up to Punk and were like, "What the hell, man?" And melee ensued. And Larry the Dog was in there, and he was in jeopardy. And Ace Steel's wife was in the room, and apparently she was in such jeopardy that Ace Steel had to bite a guy and throw chairs and shit. And that is, of course, the CM Punk side of things. On the other side, the Young Bucks lightly tapped on the door, gently asked nicely, pretty please, if they could come in, sir. And then Kenny Omega saved Larry the Dog. Well, a whole melee was going on, and there was fire and blood and barbed wire everywhere and chains, and people were shooting guns at each other. It was a war zone. And Kenny Omega, the kind-hearted human being that he is, the sweet, innocent soul of a man that is Kenny Omega, took it upon himself to put himself in the line of fire to go and rescue a helpless little dog. And of course, he was viciously attacked by Ace Steel for just being in the room. And of course, these are the two sides of things. Obviously, the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, I would imagine. I don't see the Young Bucks just kicking in a door, because, to be honest with you, I don't think they're physically capable of kicking in a door. Meh, I don't know. But that's just my thoughts on it. You know what I mean? Maybe they did. Maybe Punk's side is right. This whole thing is just ugly as shit. It is a bad look for the entire company. It buried Tony Khan. You heard him get the boos on Wednesday night when he appeared on screen to announce the titles were vacated. He's putting the trios titles were already put on the line. We have the Lucha Bros, or the Death Triangle, I should say. And then we also have a tournament being held for the World's title. Punk injured again. He got injured in the match. Rumors were early that he was injured in the melee. Of course, I didn't believe that, because I saw him fucking holding his arm. He kept checking it. He kept doing this gimmick and shit. The whole fucking match against Moxley. So, JR even called it out on commentary. So, it was definitely something that happened in the match. But what was it that Moxley said? Weak mind, weak body, weak ego, or fragile mind, fragile body, fragile ego. He predicted this shit, remember? In his lead up to the match, he said, enjoy seeing CM Punk because he's not going to be around for very long. Motherfucker's Nostradamus. And by the way, I know Jim Cornette's followers have a particular hatred for Moxley, but Jon Moxley is the MVP of AEW. This guy, has stepped up to the point that everybody, all the fans, everybody's taken notice of the extra mile that Moxley has gone for the company of AEW. And it shouldn't go unnoticed or unappreciated by either us, the fans, or even Tony Khan himself should throw Moxley a nice fat bonus for missing his vacation. Because he stepped up, and not just by being there physically, but he has taken on a leadership role, both in, his promo might have been the best promo he's ever cut in his life. One of, for sure. When he was out there on Wednesday, you could tell, he had passion in his voice, and that he really wanted to restore some credibility to AEW. He wants to take the lead now. Another person that has stepped up is Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho has been a fantastic leader backstage by all accounts. He's been nice and cool and calm about this whole thing. And he really stepped up. And even in his promo, he said, "This is my locker room." Some of these guys are taking this very personally. Apparently, Bryan Danielson as well. Bryan and Jericho and Moxley held a meeting on a Wednesday, I believe it was. Talked to the locker room and basically kind of, we're the big boys in the room, the adults in the room. And it's funny that they're all the WWE guys, you know what I mean? But, they went in there and they were like, "Yo, you guys, we got to get this shit under control." And Tony Khan was made to look really, really bad here, too. This whole thing reflects very poorly on Khan. I'm not so much concerned about the fight. I don't think that's as big of a deal as some people are making that out to be. We've seen fights happen all over, professional wrestling. So it's not a huge deal. The huge deal is letting CM Punk sit there and bury everybody. CM Punk, to me, this guy was my hero. One of, Raphael from the Ninja Turtles is a hero of mine too. But I really liked Punk. His whole voice of the voiceless thing, his anti-authority, pushing back against the evil empire of WWE. We all thought for the longest time that it was the evil empire of the WWE. That this man was putting his balls out there and just telling it like it is, spitting truth. And pushing back against the system that was built to hold him down. But now he's had the whole fucking world handed to him. He's got complete creative freedom, a shit ton of money, main events, and he's still a douchebag. So at this point, is both AEW and WWE horrible, evil companies, or is CM Punk just a douchebag? I'm starting to think that it's Punk's the problem. And at this point, a lot of people are calling for his head. They want him to be fired from AEW altogether. The locker room is almost unanimously against him. I know that there are factions of the locker room, and there's certainly factions of fans that are more on the side of CM Punk, and they'd rather see the Bucks get let go. Oh yeah, thanks for checking out the video. Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like it if you liked it. Yeah, and you can check out full episodes each and every Sunday right here on the channel. Oh yeah, dig it.